research, documentation of the fact that HIV cannot, will not, and can never cause AIDS. Now, I was hoping that we wouldn't be actually here with brothers and sisters from the church choir, so that I'm trying to, I'm just saying it to people who already know, and I guess y'all are coming for more concise information for you all to have the argument and be able to make a scientific argument to those people who keep telling you that you got to do certain things in order not to catch HIV/AIDS, which is just as good, because we need as many soldiers out there in the front lines among the people telling them, or at least listening to the argument, and helping to put a whole other dialogue into the minds and mouths of those who have parroted the medical view. Now, first things first, I want to ask a question of everybody here. I would like everybody to give a show of hands based on what it is that you know you have been led to believe, and what it is that you know other people around you feel and believe about this thing called HIV/AIDS. Quick survey. A, you agree? Put your hands up. Put your hands up, either disagree. C, you don't know. All right? Question number 1. HIV is the cause of AIDS. And you have to be honest. Do you truly feel that? Yes or no? No. Okay. 2, nothing else can weaken the so-called immune system like HIV. You agree, disagree, or don't know?
Disagree.
Disagree. 3, the HIV test is reliable.
False.
Disagree.
Disagree.
Okay. 4, everyone should take an HIV test.
Disagree.
5, the definitions of HIV/AIDS are clear and succinct and cannot be confused with other diseases.
Disagree.
See, now that's something you got to definitely think about, because the way they have put the story to us, and I was hoping that we had a certain doctor that would be here to actually listen to this, because there are a lot of brothers and sisters in our community who work for the medical establishment and have accepted wholeheartedly the American Medical Association's viewpoint about what this thing called AIDS is about. So, in asking the question about, as I'm saying it, the definition of HIV/AIDS is very clear. A lot of you would not really understand because you don't actually understand the definitions themselves. So that's a little bit ambiguous. You can say we don't know until we actually examine and go a little bit further into it. Number 6, latex condoms are safe to use.
Disagree.
7, HIV is a sexually transmitted disease that can easily be transmitted during unprotected sexual intercourse, oral sex, or anal sex.
Disagree.
Okay, there's a lot of people not saying anything. Which is good. You don't disagree, or it's all right for us to have, divergent viewpoints, because this is how we're going to deal with the reality of a thing. Because if you have accepted the medical viewpoint as a truth, we have to investigate what your truth is. Lastly, prescription drugs approved by the FDA like AZT, DDI, protease inhibitors are all absolutely safe and effective in curing HIV/AIDS. Now, we know that's a rhetorical question, so we won't even go any further. The reason why I put these questions down and why we posed these questions at the Harlem AIDS Conference was because we wanted to make sure that we understood who was in the audience. Because a lot of what we were about to say to people would be not only over their heads, but would be resisted. Because we are a faith-based people. A lot of times we don't get into the work of digging out the facts, going after the reality. So whatever the consensus view is from those people that we have assigned a mantle of authority to, that viewpoint is accepted by us on the faith that those people have our best interest at heart. So we go to the medical, we have black people wrapped up in kente with a whole lot of stuff on the walls, So what they say, based upon how they look with locks and they got their stuff looking good, they're parroting the viewpoint from where they learned and how they get their money. Okay? Then you got those people who come into our communities who are kind of educated, and I say the word kind of educated, and they put themselves beyond the scrutiny and the critical analysis of our people. There are people who come into our community with letters and doctrines who, by their very education, cultivates an egotistical overview of their learning. And they take that learning as if it is something that gives them a greater amount of either position, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and just a whole overall elitism that comes with that documentation. When you can hang that on your wall and pull down $135,000 a year, that somehow puts you aloof. It puts you into a whole other category of thinking. So now when you think a certain way, and here comes somebody out the community that ain't got one of the letters on the wall, ain't part of your fraternity, don't meet you at the same cocktail mixers, at the same medical and pharmaceutical bazaars where they go out selling and pushing their drugs. So you don't have your little handshakes, you don't have your little stethoscope that I meet you, that I know you in residency and all this bullshit. They don't have that. I didn't come from that. Here I come with information from the very same fraternity that you lock out. And I challenge you with it. And now you say that something's wrong with me because I don't have that on there, I don't know what I'm talking about. So it's about that kind of egotism in people who are of our people, melanated people. And there are some people in the Atlanta community and in the New York community and all over who are black, have a certain amount of education that tells us, well, you don't know the whole facts. Well, I'm taking it about my business to know the whole facts. And as far as when you push a drug to my people, you don't know all the facts about the drugs except what they put inside of that little thing for you to know. And you don't even tell the people what the counterindications are, especially in vaccinations. They tell you that for everything that, as far as consumers are concerned, when you have a consumer product, you're supposed to put everything on that label. Anything that's going inside of that particular consumer, you're supposed to have the information about what's in the content of that stuff so the person can make an informed choice. In vaccinations, ain't nothing like that happening. You put the pus or that cow or that monkey or that horse inside of your child, and yet still, when something happens, you now got this big police force, this big insurance agency that can cover your ass, and you can keep on going no matter if you had that mistake. No matter how much mistakes you make, no matter what you do, how many people you kill, you can still practice medicine. And the practice of medicine is the most nebulous and dangerous and the most divisive and insidious form of practice because there is no accountability. You follow a specific set of codes and regulations, whereas the difference between a doctor and an engineer is like the Grand Canyon when it comes to intelligence.